This is episode 2 of Founder 64. And this episode's guest is a young buck. He's only 23. He is raised in the Sunshine Coast and he kickstarted his own vintage classic line called Sunshine Coast Vintage Market, where he started it in high school in 2019, where he sold it to kids, maybe lecturers. I don't know. These are questions I want to ask him. And early this year, he opened up his first physical store in Mooloolaba, which is a hotspot for maybe the world. His name is Jordan Armstrong. Is it important for you to always dress vintage just because like you're the face of?
Yeah, that's a good question, eh? I don't think I've bought like a new, besides these shoes, I don't think I've bought anything new in a while, excluding underwear and socks. Like, I don't think I could wear used underwear. I know some people are game enough to do it, but I don't think I could do that.
Do you sell vintage underwear?
I do not, and I never will.
What if there was demand for it?
I still probably wouldn't, just for like hygiene purposes. I don't think I could do it.
You crossed that's the line. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Do you just for people who can't see our shoes, we're wearing the same shoes. You're wearing.
We are. This
Balance.
wasn't planned.
No.
But yeah.
But there's like some shoe chemistry that we have.
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, I didn't think that's what would. I didn't think I was going to be walking in with someone wearing the same pair of shoes, but I like it.
I'm curious because if you own a vintage clothing store, you have like bulk vintage clothing somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you ever buy clothes now, or do you just walk in like I'm the boss? Give me that clothes.
No. So it's funny. Once something's on our racks, I won't wear it.
Really?
Some of our staff, like a lot of the customers who come in know Eden through like our Instagram and stuff, and Eden is notorious for picking stuff off the racks.
Yeah.
And wearing it for the day, and then maybe taking it home, and then I've got to be like, Eden, where did that shirt go? And she's like, oh yeah, I'll bring it back tomorrow.
So she's basically stealing.
She's
stuff.
basically stealing, but we let her get away with it sometimes.
Okay, yeah. Is that a perk? Like if someone wanted to be like, hey, I'm really keen on being an employee, you get literal free clothes.
You know, I don't know how Eden got around it, but
yeah.
I said from the start, like maybe don't take anything off the racks, but she's really just stealing, like, because obviously we've got heaps of different sellers here. She thinks she can get away with it if she's taking stuff off the stuff that the store owns.
Okay. Yeah.
So she'll swipe a jumper or a jacket during winter.
You should maybe talk to her like at like her next performance review and just be like, so here's a load of washing that you've stolen. maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
So what is the most expensive item in here? Not that I'm not looking to steal it. I'm just thinking.
That's a good question. We got a couple like Carhartt Detroit jackets in here.
Yeah.
Priced at maybe like, I think they're priced at $300 or maybe like $250, $280. They're probably our most expensive things in here, but that's like, that'd be tops where we top out.
Now, so I might just be like super dumb, but I like vintage clothing, so I kind of get it. But I'm also like, why are people so obsessed with vintage clothing? Like someone's going to come in here and be like, that's an old looking like $300 jacket. I want it.
Yeah.
So like what's behind the popularity?
I think there's like a couple factors that factor into it. First off, I think people want to dress like more unique these days. And, you know, I was at like the Listen Out Festival on the weekend, and the amount of like the same Neo Vision shirt I saw on like 20, 30 people. Like I thought I was seeing the same person, but no, I was just seeing the same shirt over and over.
Oh, it's true.
So I think like number one thing is people want to dress unique, and every item in this store is one of one. So yes, there's more of them out there, but because it's vintage, it's not readily available to anyone who wants it. So I think that's a big factor in it. And then like second, maybe more important, it's just everything was made way better back in like the 90s and 2000s. Like construction of garments is so much better. Like I'm just looking at like a pair of these jorts from the 90s right now. They're 30 years old now, and they're still serving the same purpose they did when they were, you know, purchased in the mid 90s or whatever.
Wait, so okay, I got a question down the line, but I'm going to ask it now. So these are authentic vintage clothes. You haven't like, you're not going to someone and be like, just slap these around like some rocks or like,
so,
you know, like chuck bleach all over them.
Nah. So every garment in here is vintage. Most of our stuff's 90s and 2000s. We do have some like modern streetwear like built in. Like we've got a bunch of Supreme and Bape, and obviously like our shoe shelf. We obviously that most of that gear is all brand new, but everything else in here is vintage.
True. It would be quite tricky to have like a 40-year-old pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Even though I buy them from the old
Yeah,
shop,
they'd
but
crumble.
they do.
They'd crumble.
Like, yeah. Even if it says Hush Puppies on it, I'm like, I'll wear it to like a job interview and be like, and then walk out wearing bare feet. Like, I'm so sorry I didn't make it through it.
Yeah.
So before, just to like rewind, say 5-6 years ago, you started in high school, like selling some clothes.
Yes.
But I'm kind of curious, like in high school, what were you interested in outside of vintage? Like kind of like paint me a picture of like.
Honestly, I think I just wanted to like get cheap clothes. Hey, like shopping at Sunshine Plaza was too expensive for me. So, you know, I would just hit all the op shops around Maroochydore. I lived in Palmwood, so like Nambour was like a pretty easy option for me. I could get on the bus for 5-6 minutes and be there. And no one else was really op shopping back in those days. I feel like this was 2015, 2016.
Yeah. That's
so like a while ago now that I think of it. And yeah, like back then, everything in the op shop used to be like $3 t-shirts, $4 t-shirts. So I just went and, you know, wanted to find cool stuff for myself.
Yeah,
like,
but you would have been like 13. 14?
How old would I have been? I think I was in I think I started when I was maybe in like year 9 or year 10.
Yeah.
So I would have been like, 14, 15,
But
16 maybe.
you're just doing it by yourself? Like you're just like,
Yeah.
you're like, Mom, I'm taking a bus. And then you're going to like.
I lived in Palmwoods, and like anyone who knows like Palmwoods, Woombye area, nothing's happening there. So everyone hangs out at Maroochydore, everyone hangs out in Mooloolaba. So I just catch the bus and like spend my whole school holidays here. And
Yeah. That's funny. Okay, so 13, 14 or year 9, you're op shopping your heart out because
Yes.
you just like it.
Yeah.
And then at what point do you go, oh, I want to sell this in school? Like,
Yeah, sure.
Where did that idea come from?
Yeah, so I'd been going op shopping for ages, but everyone, like people who do op shop, you always know you never find stuff in your size. Like all the jeans or all the shorts are size 38. It's like way too big for you, right? And I was like a skinny kid when I'm still a skinny kid, but
No, you got some size. I don't want to say it because I thought maybe it'd be inappropriate, but I can see some muscle.
no, like when I was like 16, like I wore like a size like 30 waist pair of jeans or whatever. But if I saw something cool that was like a size 34 or like a t-shirt size that was too big for me or whatever, I would buy it, knowing full well I couldn't really wear it or it'd look ridiculous. So I just started like accumulating all this cool stuff or stuff that I thought was cool in the corner of my room. And friends would come over and they'd, you know, start going through the pile because they wanted to see what I had. And I remember one day one of my mates was like, hey bro, like, can I buy this off you? And I was like, what do you mean? Like I paid like $4 for it. And he's like, I'll give you 10. And like, I guess that's kind of where it all sparked from.
Right.
Where I was like, oh, I can actually like, they're going to pay me for like the time it took for me to go out and like find this.
Yeah.
And then from there, that kind of just like kickstarted. I went to like a lot of like local markets. Like I went to Fisherman's Road like once every 2 weeks or once a month or whatever.
Was that, so did you, so you got your friend who's in your room and he's like, I want to give you $10. Like he's like your first customer.
Yeah,
and you're
pretty
thinking,
much, right?
Yeah, and you're like, that's 120% like markup on like,
Yeah.
like whatever it is.
Yeah,
Someone do the math.
I was stoked. Like I would have taken the same as what I paid for it, but I guess like maybe if he'd only offered me what I paid for it, maybe I wouldn't be here. You know?
True.
So,
Yeah. So you kind of owe him a little bit. Does he have shares in the business or?
He doesn't. I'm trying to remember what friend it was now that I'm saying it. But
How many friends do you have?
not many.
Oh, okay.
Like one or two.
Okay, right. So, but was the transition from like, oh, I'm in my room selling clothes, which sounds like, you know,
Yeah.
which is very modest.
Yeah.
But then did you go straight to high school? You're like, are you walking around with like a large backpack or did you go to the markets first?
It was always markets. Like I never really sold at school. I used to like try and like make my own clothing and stuff, but you know, every like 15-year-old who wants to start their own brand, like it never really like turned into anything. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think I just started doing the markets and then I graduated in 2019 and I was just doing more and more markets. There was a market that started in Brisbane called Brisbane Vintage Exchange. And they were like one of the first like we only sell vintage here markets. And yeah, I went there and I I made like $1,000 on my first day selling there, and I was just gobsmacked. Honestly, I was like, what? Like you can. Because I've been a Fisherman's Road, right? I'm making like $300 in sales and getting up at 4 a.m. And I'm like, damn, is this really worth it? But then I went to that Brizzy market that Gabe and Jackson started, these boys in Brizzy. And yeah, I just went every month after that.
So that's $1,000 profit? Like that
we just did $1,000 in sales. I would have no idea. We did such bad stock take then. Like it doesn't really exist. But yeah.
I'm so curious. So like if you go into these markets now and you're like, oh, I earned my first $1,000. Like I'm rich. I'm gonna go and buy some new shoes, which you don't do apparently.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. But did you where are you getting the clothes from? Are you still going to like Salvation Army?
Yes. So back then, for those like 3-4 years that I just grinded those markets, I was just hitting up op shops. Like, to be honest, I had these Sunshine Coast like op shops on lock. Like, it sounds so whack to say out loud, but I was making friends with all the managers, and they were holding stuff out the back for me and stuff. Like,
so they walk in like, oh, Jordan's here.
Yeah,
right,
literally.
we've got the good stuff.
No, they got my number, and they started texting me when their deliveries come in and stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
so these old ladies are like, like,
well, they just know I would buy stuff, so it's easier for them. They didn't want to tag anything, and
that's so good.
Yeah, so it was funny for like the year that lasted or whatever, and then
I'm probably going like a little all over the show.
No, you're good.
But like, if you went from selling a top tier mate in your room, you're going into like selling clothes at markets. Did you ever? I don't know. Like, where's the confidence and motivation to do it? Because in my head, I'm like, man, if you're like 18, 19 doing this. I don't know, like most 18-year-olds are worried about not business maybe.
Yeah.
Did you ever where'd your confidence come from? Did you have anyone being like, you should do this? And like,
my parents are business owners, so I guess like I've always been pretty, like I've always wanted to like own a business or whatever. It was funny, I saw my my year 12 graduation book the other day. And I think my friend was looking at like what he said and was like laughing at it, whatever. And I opened it up to mine, and my thing literally says, the thing was like in 5 years, like what do you want to be doing? And it's like in 5 years, I want to own a clothing store.
No
and
way.
I completely forgot that I wrote it.
No
so it was
way.
funny like opening that up the other day and like.
Did you cry?
Nah, I didn't cry. I don't really cry. I'm not a very emotional person. But yeah.
Yeah, I got that when I walked in. I was like,
Really?
man, this guy's serious. No. Yeah, so if you've got these markets, you're making $1,000, or at least you made your first 1,000 at one of the markets. Do you know like why your clothes are like doing so well in comparison to like other vintage clothes, or is there anything about your stuff that's unique and gives you kind of like a competitive edge, or
like when I started?
Yeah.
Not really. Hey, I used to just buy stuff that I thought was cool, and I learned the hard way that a lot of stuff I liked, other people didn't like, because it would hang around on the racks for too long or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of just refined slowly. Like I've been doing this a fair while now, like 5-6 years or something. So I guess I kind of just refined like what other people like and kind of figuring out price points and stuff. I sell my stuff. I mean, I think I sell my stuff like a bit cheaper than like what everyone else sells it for. So maybe that has some influence in it.
I was just trying to think like, if you've got, say, Gander, Universal Store, like I feel like those mainstream businesses have kind of picked up on like the vintage appeal.
Yeah.
Do you still feel like, is there like what's your, I guess, like competitive edge against them? Do you feel
against stores
like some of the
that?
big players? You're like, you're doing
true.
so well, and like,
yeah, I mean, so what Gander and Universal are doing is they're finding vintage t-shirts or whatever. If we just look at the t-shirt aspect of it, they're finding vintage t-shirts. And then they're using it they sample off that shirt. So they might have like an old football shirt, right? And then they're doing their own version of it and printing 10,000 of the same item, right? What we're doing is we've got the authentic item. We've got the original item that these big brands are ripping off. And we're selling it for cheaper than they're selling their rip-off version of it. So
have you emailed them saying that, or
no,
just say
no,
so
I
you know,
haven't.
we're better.
No, it's like it's not about like we're better, they're better. It's just, I mean, why would you want to? For me, if I look at the consumer, I say, why would you want to own like the new version that's you're only going to get 3-4 wears out of before it the cotton starts disintegrating or whatever. When you could wear the original that's still in good condition, and it's going to last you another 20, 30 years because of how well it was made in the 90s.
Yeah, I want that one.
Yeah.
So, okay, now that you're probably not going to op shops, are you still going to op shops?
Nah.
Or where do you get your clothes from now?
So I source from overseas now. So 3, 4, 5 times a year, I'll fly to the US or I'll fly to somewhere in Asia, and I'll go sit in warehouses for 2 weeks and just pick through piles of clothes. Yeah, I'll show you the photo after. You'll love it. Yeah.
So these are like business related like
Yeah.
trips?
Yeah. So I've been to, I won't like reveal the location, but
Yeah, because
I've been to like a specific country in Asia for like maybe like 5 or 6 times now over the last year and a half.
And so they're just a massive factory. You walk in there and they're like,
It's not a factory.
bags
They're like sorting warehouses. So how the clothes get to Asia is in the US. It's not like here. I don't know. For anybody who op shops here, everyone knows there's way less menswear than women's wear, right?
yeah. It's actually really depressing.
Yeah.
I walk in and I'm like, maybe I'll get a dress. I don't know.
Yeah. Where in America, their op shops or charity stores or thrift stores or whatever you want to call it, there's too much stuff getting donated for what they can put out. So what they have to do is they've got to either pay to dispose of it, like pay to dump it, or they sell it to countries like Pakistan and India and stuff like that. And all India and Pakistan need to do is they just have to pay for the freight over. Because for the American businesses, it's going to cost them money to donate it. This way, it's a way of them getting rid of it for free.
No way. So wait, you're flying over there. You're going to these big sorting warehouses. How are you bringing it back?
Shipping it, yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
You're not. I was like, that's a lot of extra luggage.
Yeah. You can't do it. I've tried to. Like last time I went earlier in the year, I forget which month, but I bought 600-700 kilos worth. So
Whoa.
yeah, a lot. It was like 4,000 items.
Yeah.
But I've like made like some good relationships over there now, so they'll let me store it at their warehouses in Thailand, and they'll send it over when I need it.
I feel like
and
you're
stuff.
good at like, I don't know, befriending like business partners. Like you start off with the elderly people at like Salvation
Yeah.
Army, and now you're going to like Asia.
Yeah.
And
No, I mean for them, I spend a lot of money with them, so it wasn't really something I asked them to do. They kind of just offered one day, and I was like, look, if I don't have to fork over, because shipping stuff is expensive. Like one of our boxes, like for 150 tees, it's $500-600 just to ship a box.
wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
I know it's a lot. Yeah,
It's
so
eating into your margin. No wonder you've got to sell a jacket for
I know,
300.
right? And if I've got 40 boxes or whatever that I need to ship over all at once, it's 20 grand. So yeah, when they offered to let me leave the stuff there and they'd ship it over as I needed, it was a bit of a game changer.
I'm like, are you going broke? Are you fine?
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like opening the Malulabar store was probably like one of the biggest milestones for you.
Yes.
I assume.
100%.
Did you did you look at other places before you opened the Malulabar store?
Yeah, so before we opened the store, we obviously did our markets.
Yeah.
So we started a market in Mountain Creek in, I don't know if it was I think it was 2021. 2021? Maybe it was 2022. I can't remember. It's like 3 years old now. Right. So whatever that works out to. 2021.
Yeah. Well, yeah, basic
sorry.
math. I can't do it. I can't help you.
Yeah, so we started the markets in Mountain Creek next to Brightwater Hotel in 2021. And, like any market, we brought in other vendors, but we wanted to do like just the vintage aspect. We didn't really want to do a flea market or anything. And obviously we've done that for 3 years. We started our we started our Gold Coast market as well. And obviously, like as I mentioned with the graduation book, I always wanted a store, right? But there's a lot of overheads when it comes to holding a store, like rent, wages, like electricity, everything, like setup, everything that comes into it. So yeah, I was looking for a while to try and figure out like if it was even possible to do. But I think like the biggest help was we actually rent out double racks in our store. So each one of these double racks that you see around here is actually a different seller. So we sell their pieces on consignment for them. And they pay us a weekly rent. and they pay like us a commission as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
a different way of doing it. It's not conventional retail, but what this means for us is we can kind of share the costs of rent and wages across, across the collective of us. And for them, what it means is they can be in a store for much cheaper than what they would. Yeah.
So you're splitting the overheads across like
We
multiple
split the
businesses.
overheads, yeah. But for them, they never have to be here, right?
Yeah.
So all they have to do is restock their rack.
Right. So you take a commission from like their total sale.
Correct.
And then they're paying for like the rack.
Yes, correct.
Interesting. Is that like did you like come up with that in
I
your
definitely
room,
did
or?
not invent this. No. We took a lot of inspiration from, there's a store in Brisbane, which we sell at as well, called Brick Market. Georgia was like a huge inspiration for all this. And there's also a lot of stores like this in Melbourne. But we're definitely the first of its kind on the Sunshine Coast.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So but just with like the physical store, why Mooloolaba? Did you think like, oh, maybe Noosa would be better, or Hastings Street?
True.
Or...
Yeah. So funnily enough, I actually did work experience in this store when I was in year 9. Yeah.
What was it then?
It used to be a store called Common Ground. They sold like a lot of like skatewear, like decks. Yeah. They had like Supreme when everyone cared about like Supreme and Bathing Ape. It was so sick. I used to come to Mooloolaba all the time just to look at the Supreme tee that was on the rack over in in that corner.
So you are like fashion obsessed.
Yeah. I mean,
obsessed
it's crazy
negative,
to call me fashion obsessed though, because I dress so basic. Like,
you reckon?
Yeah,
we dress the same. What are you trying to say?
I mean, compared to other like some of these other vintage dealers in my industry, like they dress so cool, and I'm that guy who always wears, jean shorts, sneakers, and a t-shirt.
Oh, boring Jordans here.
Yeah,
come on, man, I'm trying. I got a business to run.
Yeah, like I do love clothes. Yeah, for sure. But
yeah, so I don't know if you're like comfortable talking like the money side of things, but like, did it cost much to like fit out the store?
Yeah, fit out for us, we spent around like 25,000 fitting it out. We also only had 2 weeks to do it. Yeah, so the landlord was very strict with our rental free period as such.
Yeah.
So we got 2 weeks to fit the store out. And we did it. Like huge help. I had one of the guys who sells in here, he's super handy. His name's Hayden. He was like responsible for the design of pretty much everything you see in here when you look around.
Really?
Like I brought a lot of like ideas to him, but he was the guy that, made everything come to life. So he pretty much lived here nonstop for like 2 weeks.
I did see a pillow back there, and I thought, well, maybe someone sleeps there. Maybe it's you. You can tell me if you do. Just to talk about the money side again, and again, if you're like, I don't want to talk about numbers. That's
okay,
fine.
true.
But I'm just curious, like, what's the most amount of revenue you've made in like a month or something? Have you got like a?
I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head. We did 17 grand on opening night. Yeah,
that's a lot.
Like that was absurd to me. I did not think so many people were going to show up, but we had a line around the block of like maybe like 100 people or something.
Whoa!
And it stayed for hours.
Were you overwhelmed? Were you like, I don't have enough t-shirts?
Yeah, for sure. Not overwhelmed about do we have enough stuff, but like I was more just overwhelmed by just like the support. Like you don't expect that from strangers, right? Like most people don't even know who I am. I'm not really. I mean. Lately, I've been on the Instagram a lot more, and that's mainly because Eden's like, you need to start putting your face on stuff.
Yeah, Eden,
or
she steals clothes and she tells you to do stuff like what?
No, Eden's great. But usually, up until like very recently, I never really put my face on anything. So it was cool to see so many people supporting like the store that like they don't. They don't care who I am. They've got no idea who I am. So yeah, it was cool to see so many people come support.
It's so cool, and it's really encouraging as well. Like as you make these like
100%
baby step, not even baby step. It's a massive step, but it's like each step you've made has been like validated by customers being like,
which is a good feeling, right? Because like there's definitely been times where I've done something and people not care at all. But it's cool to see when like something comes to fruition.
Yeah, totally. Do you I was gonna say, like, what motivates you? Is it the fashion side of things, like, or are you more motivated to like, I want to run a business like my parents?
It's definitely more run the business, honestly. Like, I love clothes. Like, I can geek out on some of the old band tees in here for like an hour with a customer.
Refrain if you must.
But I'm definitely more like business minded. Like,
if you're this business mind, do you feel like what's the most stressful part of running the store? Do you have any like massive challenges right now where you're like, okay, I need to sort X, Y, Z out?
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing for me when I opened the store was I'd never really had anyone like Eden works 5 days a week, right? I'd never really trained an employee. This young guy who works for us, his name's Taj. People would definitely recognize him from the Instagram or from our markets. But he's worked with me for ages. But he's just been doing like stock prep and stuff. So it was very basic, not very many things that I needed to like teach him how to do. But Eden, I had to teach her how to do everything.
Fold clothes.
Yeah, like everything. It's just like all the like the admin and stuff that we have going on as well. Like teaching her how to do all that. So like that was a huge challenge for me because I kind of just do like, and I kind of just work it out. Where trying to teach someone how to do something the way I want it to be done is like a whole nother thing.
Because you're trying to create like little mini Jordans, right? In a way. Not that you want to force
in a way, but like I like everyone having their own like their own twist on it as well.
You get 20% of your personality and 80% of me if you want to work here. Maybe no, you can try that. You can try it if you want. If you're like, because I just feel like you're so young, you're like learning as you're doing this.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Do you have like, are your parents like your mentors? Do you have a mentor? Do you have a book that you read? Like what helps you?
My parents are busy people, so it's hard to get like their attention sometimes.
Do you call them and like they just like leave you on red?
Yeah, like sometimes I'll call my mom and be like, "Yeah, what do you think I should do about this?" And she'll give me advice and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I kind of just like working stuff out for myself, I think. My parents obviously don't work in like the clothing industry or really the retail industry.
Where do they work?
So they own pubs on the Sunshine Coast.
Nice. Any popular ones? That
they own Bye Bye Hotel. Like that just opened last year. Some people may know it, some people may not. Yeah.
I know Blah Blah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, great.
It's like that big pub that opened like at the end of last year.
Sure, yeah.
Near the IGA and stuff like that. But,
okay, all right. Well, people can go check it out.
Yeah.
If they're feeling thirsty.
Yeah. Go get a beer.
How did you, because your Instagram looks really good. You got 8,000 followers. And I've scrolled through some of your reels and like some of them are like really blowing up.
Yeah.
Is there like a secret to like how you've managed to do that?
I mean, like you can put a lot of that down to Eden, to be honest. Like she's been really on top of a lot of trends and stuff. I'll give her ideas and she's really the one who executes it. But yeah, I guess we're just, sometimes with our reels, we've figured out that it's not always about like selling a product to someone. Obviously we're a clothing store, so we got, 3,000 products in this store, all one of one. But a lot of our Instagram content that is popular isn't really associated with, come buy this. So I think people are so used to being like sold to nowadays, like especially with like advertisement and all that going around. So we've really just tried to focus on like building more of like a community at the store rather than, posting stuff that says, look, we just dropped 100 shirts, come and look at them.
Yeah. I think I have seen a reel like that.
Yeah, probably.
No,
probably. It probably didn't do well either, hey?
Yeah. It was like a 300 view video and I'm like, oh, you're trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
I don't want
Maybe
that.
that's when I figured it out.
Yeah. That's great. I know you're more, if you're like more business minded or that's kind of like where you're, that's more of your focus or passion. But to lean on the fashion side for a second, as a business or as a vintage clothing brand owner, can you predict any like fashion trends for the next year that people could be like, all right, well, I'll try and like buy that to like be ahead?
True. That's a good question, actually.
Take your time.
So this is like a funny story, but I swear I was wearing like jorts in like 2016 and I was getting flamed by everyone. Everyone was like laughing at me and stuff. And now they're all popular again. And it's like, it's just funny because I used to remember everyone made fun of me when I'd wear like jean shorts and say I looked like an old man and stuff.
Yeah.
So I could say maybe I foreshadowed that. I don't think I did.
So
but
you're like leading by example or?
Yeah, but definitely not though, because I definitely donated them after everyone made fun of me.
Yeah. You put your shorts, what are they called? Jorts?
Yeah, like jean shorts.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm too old.
I don't know. I'm probably not the best person to ask on the trend forecasting.
What are 3 pieces of vintage clothing that people should buy to like look hot this summer. Or cool.
To look hot this summer?
Yeah.
Damn. Male or female?
Let's go male first.
Okay. Button-ups. I think button-ups have come back. They kind of went out for like a couple years there. But button-ups have been selling really well here, especially over the past.
All the way to the top?
I don't know. Like, wear them how you want.
Okay, so the first one is button-up top. 2 more.
For men's?
Maybe.
Yeah.
We can switch to women if that's easier.
I think I think jorts are still going good, honestly. They're just like you can really wear them with anything. Okay. So I think that's easy for the guys.
And then, okay, so for a female, if she wants to look cool this summer, like what are 3 items that she should definitely have?
If they want to look good this summer?
Yeah, like real good.
I think like a good like Y2K hat is like cool for the beach. A lot of girls have been buying the button-ups too, but I don't know. I like it when girls wear like baggy stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
Like almost like tomboyish. I think it looks so sick.
That's your like.
Oh, it's not like I'm attracted to that or anything, but it's just
sounded like you said that.
No, but it's just I just think it looks really cool on chicks when they wear like a big button up and jorts.
Nice, like wear your pants and it's like all t-shirt.
Yeah, I think like skirts have definitely been like a big staple for us.
Yeah.
Like the mini skirts and stuff like that. So I would be surprised if that trend didn't continue for sure.
So I turned 30 this year, and I feel like I'm losing touch with like my fashion sense. So I'm gonna list a few like pieces of clothing that I think could be fashionable or might not be, and you just tell me if they're cool or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so it's kind of like a game.
Okay,
right?
Sweet. I like this.
Okay, so I'll just go through them all, and you just say like cool or nah.
Cool or nah? Okay,
Yeah, just whatever you want to say. Okay. High socks.
How high are we talking?
Like above the calf, or just touching the calf.
No, nah.
Good. Leather jackets.
Cool.
Waist bags.
What, like bum bags?
Yeah.
Not cool.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have
cool.
one. Okay.
But I definitely wore one back in the day.
Yeah.
Like
when you
like
had your
over my
jorts?
shoulder, I reckon. Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as a former Eshe?
Oh, I would. No, definitely not.
No, I would never do that either. Okay.
That's probably why I stopped wearing it, to be honest.
Yeah. You caught yourself in like the reflection at Sunshine Plaza.
You're like, damn, is that what I look like?
Yeah, who's that Eshe? Oh, it's me. Okay. Oakley running glasses.
Yeah. Yes. Cool.
Tight singlets with like a big chain.
Or big chain.
Or medium size.
Yeah, I think like the singlets are cool. Yeah.
Crop tops for men.
So I'm not into this, but Eden's really into this. I'm going to say yes, just based on like what Eden's been telling me about how popular they are.
Okay, yeah. Would you try it?
I would never wear one, no.
Yeah, I feel like you got to work your abs a bit.
But I wear really baggy stuff, so it just like doesn't translate to my style at all. Yeah.
Does not translate, I get it. Okay, orange tinted glasses. Like Harry Styles. I've seen him wear a couple.
For guys or girls?
Guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you look sick in them, you can get away with it.
No, I don't think I can.
They're a tough wear. Like they either work with you or they don't.
Okay, last one. Adidas Sambas or Gazelles?
See, I tried remember I told you I was looking for a different pair of shoes.
You did.
I tried on the Sambas because I was like, oh, they look cool. I found them just like your heels so low to the ground.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really love them. I've never tried on a pair of Gazelles, but I think Sambas look really cool on people, to be honest.
Okay. Well, we're at like the last few questions now.
Yeah, you're good.
It could be cool to like think about like what you're doing in the future. So if you could think about like, I don't know, like where you want the business to go in the next 5 years, do you have stuff like that written down like a journal or what would it be?
I keep all my plans in my head, really.
Share it.
Yeah, we've been exploring a lot of things, honestly. Like changing the way because even though we have the store, we still run our Sunshine Coast Market.
Yeah.
So we've been looking at ways to change that and maybe just to improve it. Because for our Gold Coast event, we started that much more recently. Like it's only a year old. So we've adapted that very quickly. Whereas we look at the Sunshine Coast event and we haven't really changed too much from the original one we did 2.5 years ago. So yeah, we're definitely looking at ways that we can improve that, like maybe change venues, introduce more vendors, like introduce other like things that the community can do for free. And then for the Gold Coast event, it's just like, it's really just who we partner with now.
Well, I know it's super early days, but are you thinking like, oh, I can maybe look at some other stores? And
Yeah.
do you have like even if you don't have plans, do you have like dreams of opening up?
Yeah,
like a
I'd
second,
love to
or-
do a Gold Coast store, honestly. It's definitely the location that makes the most sense for us.
Yeah.
Just based on, we already have a following there with our Gold Coast market. So yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense to open like a Gold Coast store eventually.
When you're down on Gold Coast, are you looking at like buildings? Are you already like...
Yeah, I went on holidays there for like 4 or 5 days, like a couple of weeks ago, and I was just like, I don't really know Gold Coast very well.
Right.
So it was cool, like walking through.
Yeah. Are you guys closing down soon? Like, no, we're not. Sorry.
Yeah.
I like your store.
Yeah, so yeah, I'd love to do a Gold Coast store eventually. But yeah, I guess I haven't really thought about any other locations just yet.
And then just last 2 questions. You said that you tried like making your own clothes, like maybe back in high school.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about making your own like label? Or do you sell any Sunshine Coast Vintage Market labeled clothing?
We've looked at it. It just kind of goes against what I'm trying to do, like with the vintage. Like we're trying to like limit landfill and like limit wasted textiles. So I guess like for me, making clothing isn't really like what I do.
True.
Yeah. So
That might be quite like counter your mission.
yeah, I mean, we like there's vintage stores who like they make their own clothing as well, like in America and stuff. So I think for me, it's just, we really don't need any more clothing in the world. I saw this stat the other day, and it was if we made making clothing illegal, we could clothe the next 3 generations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with just the existing textiles in
I mean,
the world.
the 3rd generation might be a little rough.
Yeah.
It'd be like holes everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's insane. There's a lot of those.
Yeah, so I guess I like see stuff like that, and I'm kind of looking at it. It's like, well, do I really need more clothes? But it does make me appreciate brands who are like making an effort. We have a couple of small brands in here, and you can tell they're really focused on quality. And yes, that might come with like a higher price tag, but would you rather pay $50 for a shirt that you're only going to be able to wear 3 or 4 times? Or would you rather pay $70 for something you can wear for 15, 20 years, right?
Yeah.
It just makes more sense.
You should have like a little lifespan, like indicator, or like an expiary date
I have
on
no
your
idea though, hey. Like,
just like be like forever.
well, because, yeah, that's
Until
cool,
you're old
actually.
as.
I might have to steal that.
Okay. Yeah, you're well. I'll charge you later. Last question. Would you ever, I don't know, like take over the Bly Bly Hotel, or would you open up another business that's outside of vintage fashion?
I don't think so. I think like that was my parents' plan for a while, was they wanted me to, kind of do what they do and follow in their footsteps and maybe take over the pubs one day. But yeah, it's not really what I'm passionate about. Like I went to uni for 2.5 years as well and did a finance degree and left with 6 months left. So I didn't finish my uni degree. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I'm only going to like work on something that I'm like super passionate about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I'll ever.
So you left finance, like you were like, I'm nearly done. I'm going to leave it.
I had 6 months left. Yeah. I
to
think
do this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, just to focus on this.
Were your parents like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they were. But yeah.
Yeah. Man, they understand the hustle though and the entrepreneur.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. They've
they're-
started to come around to it now.
They were
which is
like,
cool.
what are you doing? And then they're like, oh, he's our son. He
Yeah.
can't
Dad
be.
definitely wasn't happy at one point, but I think he's changed what he's thinking.
You think?
How he thinks about it now.
Yeah, let's
I think. Yeah.
We can call him now.
Too scared to ask,
I would be. My dad's scary too. Dude, that's everything. Thanks so much.
Cool.
This is awesome.
No worries.
And where can people like find you on social media?
Yeah. So our store's located at 1 Mooloolaba Esplanade. We're like diagonally opposite the surf club or opposite Raw and Rice. I think lots of people know where Raw and Rice is. Obviously, we do our pop-up markets once a month and once every 2 months in Gold Coast. And you can just follow us on Instagram for them. So it's just Sunshine Coast Vintage Market and Gold Coast Vintage Market, depending on where you're located.
Nice. So
Yeah.
if you want to look cool, go there. And
I wouldn't say that, but
what is? I don't know what your slogan is.
I don't know. If you want to come chop it up with us and just say hey, you know.
Are you sick of looking lame? Come here. That might be too aggressive. I'm not. I don't. Do
I'm not sure.
marketing.
Hey, maybe not. Maybe that would work.
Yeah, maybe. It'd work on me.
Cool.
Cool, dude. I think we're done.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.